Oh, it already says upcoming
Hmm.
when I went to the YouTube. And now it's
I just
live.
got the notification.
Sweet. Oh, yeah. I love Flex saying starting them early and watching that. That's hilarious.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Well, I will go ahead and hit record. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Attitude Era Wrestling Review podcast, where tonight we are going to be. No, we're not going to be reviewing anything. We have reached the end of 1997, pretty much. But we had some holiday weeks ends and things, so we haven't had time in our busy schedules to watch anything. So we're going to go ahead and do our end of the year rankings. I don't think one Nitro is going to change anything. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do it. It's going to be like our end of the year awards last year, but we're going to do, and we're not going to just rank each wrestler one through whatever, give them 1 through 10. We're going to break it down into 5 different categories and rate them each, not comparing them to anybody else, just them, what we think each of theirs is. And they will each get possible 50 points from me, possible 50 points from. I haven't even introduced Arnold yet, and I'm starting to get into this. This is bad. All right. Before we get into how we're going to do it, let's go ahead and I'll introduce my tag team partner. That, of course, is the man with the velvet vocal cords, Arnold. Arnold, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, Drew. A little sad it's Sunday for our live viewers here, but other than that, no complaints.
That's right. We're going to get. Nobody's going to watch us tonight. They're going to be watching football, aren't they?
They might. I mean, the Ravens do kick off in an hour.
Oh well, who cares about that? Nobody cares about the Ravens. Sorry, Fleck and Arnold, but they can die and burn in hell. So as I said, well, we're doing our end of the year rankings, and we are going to be doing them. Oh, hold on, sorry, I realized I did this wrong. We're going to be doing them in 5 different categories, which I will go over in just a minute. Arnold, talk a little bit.
Sure. Um, so yeah, hopefully everyone's had a good weekend up to this point, Of course, I'm sure we all got a case of the Sunday scaries. I'm gonna jump right back into it tomorrow.
I'm
Excuse me.
off tomorrow.
I'm jealous. I wish I was off tomorrow. I would probably stay up and take out my anger on a certain team in college football and probably coach it better. But that's just me.
Oh, you mean WVU losing to Ohio?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
We're not going to talk about Marshall losing to Northwest Missouri State.
Ugh. Well,
You know what? This isn't the same team as last year. They all left.
mm, they're all at Southern Marshall, formerly known as Southern Missouri or Southern Mississippi.
Yeah, Southern Marshall University now. I
Oh
mean, that's pretty
boy.
much what they are. They all. I hate the transfer portal. I hate it all.
Yep.
I hate NIL. The only good thing out of it is we got college football back, but that's it.
Hmm.
But it is what it is. All right, I finally got the spreadsheet finished. So, all right.
There we go.
So here's how. So we're going to rate each one in 5 different categories, 1 through 10. It's going to be in ring work, look, gimmick, booking, and mic skills. And I realized I left Mike's skills off this, so let's put Mike in here. But so that'll give each of them a possible 150 points from you and 50 points for me is a total of 100. So I figured that'd be good and round it off.
Huh.
So, I mean, out of 100, why not? Why
Right.
not? So, and we're going to do this from 1 to 10. I guess maybe 0. I guess 0 to 10. Somebody's that bad. Um, but I want to say something because this is always bothering me. I hear people do like 1 through 10, and it'll be like they either do like a 1 or a 9 and a 10. No, a 5 is right down the middle. A five's not bad.
No.
Somebody will like give somebody a 5 and like people lose their minds. 5 is right down the middle. It's average. It's not bad. This isn't, you're trying to give like school grades like when we do our actual reviews.
Right.
5's not bad. So, yeah. So I just realized on our YouTube, I'm the only one. It's just me. Looks like I'm talking to a disembodied voice. That's cool. Good thing nobody's watching. They will though, I guess tomorrow. Anywho, so yeah, so in-ring work, mic skills, look, gimmick, and how they've been booked. 1 through 5 from you, and 1 through 5 or 1 through 10 from me. Possible of 100. We've been over that. All right, well, let's just jump right into it. And we're going to start off with Mr. Stone Cold. Oh, and this is for the year 1997. Not so, don't say, well, oh my gosh, his year in 2000 was so great. How could you only give him a 3 on yada, yada, yada? Do you not remember that promo he did in 2012? No, this is for the year 1997. So work with us here. I have put a tag team on our first couple ones. So, I'm going to keep, if I figured if it was a tag team that, exclusively pretty much worked as a tag team, we'll grade him as a tag team. So
That
that's how
works.
that'll work. All right. And for reference, I've tried not to think of this at all, like to have everything ready. I have no grades in front of me. This is a blank sheet. Arnold didn't know about this until 5 minutes ago. So,
Yes.
like, literally 3 minutes before we hit record is when I told Arnold what we're doing tonight. So, all this will be off the top of his head, fresh. So, let's go ahead and we'll start with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Arnold, I'll
Glassbreak.
let you go first, and you can tell me about his in-ring work.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's in-ring work in 1997. Um, Definitely not a man I'd want to meet in a dark alley anywhere. He was very capable of getting the crowd to love him, whether he wanted them to or not. And he was very simply following the tenet of Austin 316. In ring, I'm gonna give Austin an 8.
An 8. Okay. Okay, that's not I'm an 8. I'm not sure I can go that high because, I mean, his in-ring work didn't have to be great. And once somebody pointed this out to me, I'm sorry if I'm shatter some glass for some people. Sorry to turn a phrase, but that stomping a mud hole in the corner is just god awful. Once you actually sit down and look at it, his boot never comes close to anything. but it doesn't matter. It works. He gets it over. I mean, he's safe. He hasn't killed anybody. Almost been killed this year.
Yep.
But we hadn't seen him. I mean, I can't say his in-ring work as bad as we haven't seen him, but it's not bad. It's not perfect. I'm going to give it a 7. So I'm close to you, but I'm not quite going as high as you. He's good. It doesn't need to be great, but yeah, it is what it is. All right. Now let's move on to Stone Cold's mic skills. I'll start this one. This one is, I mean, this has got to be what, a two, three. I'm just kidding, folks. This is a 10. It's Steve Austin with a microphone in 1997. There was no, I don't think there's ever a doubt in anybody's mind what I was going to put this at least. So it's a 10. I mean, Austin 316 is flying off the shelves. And that's because, I mean, that's merchandise, but it's because of what he does on the mic when he says it. Um, that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. His just verbal evisceration of the entire roster at this point, just ripping Rock a new one, or Triple H, or whoever's in front of him, Owen Hart, it doesn't matter. It's a 10 for me. It's just insane mic work in 1997.
Absolutely. And realistically, I mean, I'm inclined to agree with that. Like, this is without a doubt a 10 for me too. And it goes along with what I was saying, at least in my opinion, of his in ring. It's just like, look, I'm coming out here for one thing only. That's open a can of whoop ass. I'm going to do just that. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
Okay. All right, Arnold. Here's going to be an interesting one. Here's going to be an interesting one. Steve Austin's look. Now, this, I'll classify this as like in shape, body, outfit, anything he would wear into the ring for like an interview or his wrestling gear, anything like his overall look.
Stone Cold looks like the Texas rattlesnake. Like he looks like the dad at a baseball game where even if his kid beans your kid from the mound, you don't say anything because you will most assuredly meet this man in the parking lot, whether you want to or not. Honestly, he might fight you for his kid hitting your kid with a baseball. Um, that's just outside the ring. A t-shirt tucked into his jeans. No, this guy is going to pick a fight anywhere he can. Dig the look though, especially for the time and the character. In ring, kind of your basic wrestling attire, boots, trunks, braces, armbands, and whatnot. Kind of create a wrestler before you start adding things style to it.
I was,
And realistically, Austin didn't need to be flashy. Like that wasn't his style at that point. You know, he wasn't stunning Steve Austin anymore. Like, he's stone cold, toughest SOB in the WWF. So realistically, I mean, even his in-ring style fit his personality. Uh this one, goodness gracious, I had never really thought about it. Honestly, I gotta give it a 5 for the most part. Like, I can't think of anything. There's no reason to give it a lower thing. And there's really no point in going any higher than that. At least not for me.
no, I will. I'm glad you said that because I was going to say a 5 and thought I was going to have to vehemently defend myself. Again, like I said earlier, 5's middle of the road. It's not bad. This doesn't need to be a 10 for Austin. And as you said, if he came out with like Macho Man's tassels and crazy lightning and hats and
Blair robe.
sunglasses, a robe, it didn't, he didn't, it would have been a detriment to the gimmick and him whatsoever. It was simple. He didn't need to be fancy. He was there for one thing and one thing only, and that was to whoop your ass. I mean, it was such a good idea to make him look like that WCW straight up copied it for one of their biggest names, Goldberg. Um, yeah. So yeah, I went with a 5 as well. I was just because I had that in my head when I was sitting there thinking, and then I'm like, oh, he's going to go a lot higher. I'm going to have to sit and defend this, but no, we're right there. All right, and like I see, and if you would have said 1 through 10, just rate Stone Cold Steve Austin, people are like, 1997. Oh, that's easy. 9 or 10. But we've seen already he's got something that's a little lower. This is going to shake up some rankings on things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying let's if somebody gets higher than him that they're better. It's just they might be better in that one thing by a bunch. But we'll see how it works out. This will be interesting.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna move on to his gimmick. How well does that fit? How well does he work it? How good is it? And how much over is it with the crowd? Um, do I need to say anything other than it's perfect? It's a 10.
No.
It's well, you know what? I'm gonna pull that back a little bit. I'm gonna pull that back and give it a 9 because we are saying 1997,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all still in its infancy. Um, there has been some learning how to work and how to be that. Actually, yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 because we haven't even because I'm still thinking of. Actually, I'm going to pull that back and say an 8 because in my head I was going through the gimmick where he's the big anti-hero against McMahon and the establishment, but we haven't even got there yet.
Nope.
So I'm going to pull back and give it an 8, and where he's just the Texan that comes down there and doesn't give a damn and whips your ass. So I'm going to go with an 8. Nothing. That's a great score. So before you come at me, people, it's still a good score. Nothing wrong with his gimmick. He works it great, but we're not perfect yet.
Yeah.
And so I can't. So I can't give him perfect. I shouldn't. I don't even want to say that I'm gauging that off of. I know it's going to get better, but it's not perfect in '97.
No.
You can still see some. We're some tweaks. We're not there yet. So I'm going to give it an 8.
Honestly, even bringing it up, like I was thinking probably about an 8. Like I said, this is still something in its infancy. And even with that being said, this is still a gimmick that's putting butts in seats on Monday nights or whenever well, no, they're live now.
Are they? Are they?
I think so. Cause I think they went live like in the middle of the year. They started
Oh,
going live because I don't think they were taping anymore at this point. Um, but I mean, that's putting butts in seats. If I see the Monday Night Raws coming to well, they were Raw's War by now. If I see Raw's coming to town and you're on the radio and they're like, so and so is going to be here, and this guy and this team. As soon as I hear Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm probably going to call Ticketmaster or whoever and be like, I need a ticket to Raw. I want to watch this guy. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at 97, like we're still trying to find, let's just say, a big bad in like anime terms, for example. We're still looking for this big bad for this Stone Cold Steve Austin guy because he's running through just about everybody we put him up against. And we'll have to see what 98 brings.
that's true. That is a good point. He does. I mean, Owen Hart, and he's been going a lot of the year, so he hasn't
Mm-hmm.
had a chance to really flesh out a true nemesis. We had
Mm-hmm.
Rock early with the IC title, then Owen, and now still Owen. He was going for a couple. I mean, he was on TV, but he wasn't wrestling. So he was
Right.
there, but that'll become more in our next category. But yeah, we're both 8s. That's cool. I like that. All right. Keep going, Arnold, and tell us about Stone Cold Steve Austin's booking for the year. How you think was how he was booked 1 through 10.
this gets a 10 for me. Like, this guy who, last year at one point was the ringmaster. And it's like after he won King of the Ring, they strapped a rocket on his back and went ahead and lit the fuse. And, you're going against, you spend 97 going against most of the top guys in the company in one way, shape, or form. You put on a show against Bret Hart, who was arguably one of the biggest names in wrestling at the time. Now, I'm pretty sure at this point, I think Austin's been in the ring with Shawn Michaels. We saw a great match between him and Rocky Maivia for the IC title. And, this guy, he can talk. He's got the look. In ring's not too bad. So we can put him up against these guys, these top guys, and put him over these top guys. And even if we don't put him over, he's coming after him the next day on Raw. So we get a rematch, and it's one we're looking forward to. Like, just with the gimmick, the booking has been perfect, at least in my opinion. Is there a couple things we could probably work on? Sure, but I mean, even at this point, WWF's roster isn't really, it's top heavy. Like, we're starting to see a few mid-carders come up, but I mean, even now at this point in 97, it's still fairly top heavy.
Agreed. Um, I can't go quite as 10. Um, have we seen him? He hasn't lost at all this year, has he?
Not that I can think of.
I mean, he hasn't been in that many matches. Um, so his booking has been, they had to just bring him in. He would just come in, stun somebody, and leave, which is fine. I get that, but I'm going to go ahead and just give it a 9. And just for the simple fact where he was going a lot of the year, I think it could have been better just for that fact. Um, um, would I booked it any different? No. So, but I just can't give it a 10 because just a little bit of lack of time.
That's fair.
Other than that, that's great. Now, Arnold, I have added this all together. And if my maths are correct, Stone Cold Steve Austin out of 100 gets an 80
Ooh.
total. See? But I'm not going to go back on anything we said. Let me double check my maths here. If I was better with Excel, I'm pretty sure I could add all those, but I'm not. So
I love Microsoft.
80. Nope. My math is better. I know there's a way to do it, and it's been forever since I've done it. But yep, an 80. And you know what? 80 out of 100 is not bad. That's really, really good. That's probably going to be one of the top ones. But maybe not. Maybe maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe somebody with a gimmick that's 20 years out of date might get better. We'll never know. But all right, we're gonna switch companies right now. Excuse me. And we're gonna move over to Mr. Diamond Dallas Page, our new U.S. champion, who's had quite a year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start off. Let's do some backwards. Let's start off with his booking. What do you think of his booking?
DDP's booking in 1997, given the state of the locker room of WCW at the time, I'll give this one a 9. I'll be honest with you. You know, whenever there's like a main card feud going on, or even upper mid card feud in '97, DDP is involved in one way, shape, or form, and he's sticking it to the NWO A team as opposed to, flopping around the ring with Virgin. Um, even when they're like, oh, well, I think this was '97, if I remember correctly, whenever Nash and Hall were teasing that DDP was joining the NWO, comes out with the shirt like, yeah, NWO. Nash turns his back. Hall gets a diamond cutter. Then Nash is like, whoa, what just happened here? DDP's like, here, let me show you. Diamond cutter. Nobody else in the company is going to be able to do that with Nash and Hall without any sort of repercussion in the back. you know? And realistically, based on how things were there, DDP made the right moves where he needed to make them. And realistically, I can't think of anybody like watching interviews or anything who even went with him at the time that had really anything bad to say about the guy. I mean, given the moves he probably made in the back as opposed to everything else, yeah, the booking was pretty good for him. And to cap a year off with a belt, thumbs up for me.
So you said 9. Wrong computer. Wonder why the mouse wasn't working. Yes, as you said, that whole fake tease to the NWO was '97, and that was an absolute highlight of the year for DDP for me, even over the U.S. title, because that was his solidifying. I am the face of WCW.
Mm-hmm.
I know Sting in the Rafters was the rally cry, but for me, since DDP was the boots on the ground, so to speak, Warrior versus WCW,
Mm-hmm.
he was the face. He was booked really good, brilliantly in 1997. You gave it a 9. I had another number in my head, and just for one reason, I thought after feuding with Macho Man all summer long, all the way to what Halloween Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
I think they waited a little too long to put the belt on him because we just got it at Starcade.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen it more toward probably if him got the belt at Halloween Havoc. It was starting to feel like it was definitely at Starcade. If it's not now, it's never going to be. And this has been a big wasted push.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they waited a little too long because I think the shine may have been a little off the apple at that point, because I think it had a bigger impact at Halloween Havoc if he got it there. So for that, I'm going to give his booking an 8.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
All right. DDP's gimmick. I'm going to go right out and go ahead and say that is also for me going to be an 8 for one simple fact, and one simple fact only, because he would come out with 8-inch long cigars. But his gimmick was perfect. He was I'm going to fight you no matter how many there are, no matter the cost. I'm going to support my brand or my faction or team or whatever you want to call it, WCW. And there's not a thing you can do to get me to your side. I don't care how good you are or how many friends you've got or what. I'm going to keep fighting, and I'm going to keep fighting some more. And just when you think I can't get up again, I'm going to fight some more. And it, to me, now that I'm realizing that, they tried this exact same thing with Big Bubba or Ray Traylor now, and just didn't work at all. Because DDP got some wins. So they never but anywho. But yeah, how many times did DDP get laid out and come back the next week and say, all right, one more, let's bring it on. So I like that. And the bang gimmick where he comes out, has that, he gets the crowd work into it. leaves all the time leaving through the crowd because he is the people are with him. I love it. I'm going to give it an 8.
Hmm.
It's just the only reason that's not like a 9 or 10. It's kind of generic. It's just it's him turned up to 11, which is a great thing, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, I can get that. Um, Gimmick wise, like it's one of those things where ah, I agree. Like it's fairly generic, but at the same time, the man makes the gimmick at that point. I will say I like that throughout the year, DDP was became a little less colorful, if that makes sense. Like where it was, come out with the hat, vest, and it was like lime green thing with his large cigar. And
Yeah.
like I'm glad that they are like, okay, let's switch this up a little bit. Because just like I said with Austin, DDP looks like this guy who will fight you at a little league baseball game. He's got the jeans on, t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. I meant to mention that he wrestles in jeans.
Yeah, like I mean, and I guess this might be copyright infringement of a sorts, but yeah, he's the people's champ of WCW. And really, I mean, in a way, I mean, you could picture that like this is a working man right here. He's coming out here, he's doing what he's got to do. And yeah, if he loses, it's like, all right, cool. We'll run it back next Monday, or we'll run it back at the pay-per-view. And I like that about DDP. The fans pop every time his music hits. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm about to give this one an 8.
Yep. I think the reason he looked like the guy next door also is a way the gimmick would connect. All right. Well, since we've talked a little bit about his look here, and that ties a lot to his gimmick. So go ahead and tell us about DDP's look. I mean, that also has to do with his physique too.
Right. This one I'm gonna give a 6. Um, I don't know. It's one of those things where if you saw DDP, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like he was a big dude. You could tell he was a big dude, but at the same time, he didn't really look like a big dude. That makes sense.
Yep.
Like he wasn't like slim or thin or anything. Like he was very muscular, but it was just he like the best way you described it. He looked like the guy next door. Like we all probably knew a dude growing up that looked like DDP. He was probably someone's dad, you know. And this is the guy listening to hair metal in his garage on Saturday while he's working on his car. And it's just like I mean, you kind of had that look. Only difference is like you had a finishing move, and most dads' finishing move was I don't know, falling asleep during football games on Sunday.
Yep.
Um, you know,
That
but
was mine.
right, same. And don't bother turning the channel. Hey, I was watching that.
Exactly. Dad,
um,
the game's been over for 2 hours. It's a nightly news. I'm watching
what
that.
was the score? And but I mean that was the look. And like I said, I mean it was one of those things that got the crowd over, but yeah, it was just kind of off to me. So like I'm weird, I guess, but that gives me a 6 for this one.
I can't disagree too much. Um, I think his ties in so much with the gimmick that I'm going to give it a 7 just because I gave the gimmick an 8. But yeah, I mean it's t-shirt. The only I'd probably go ahead and give it an 8, but he's had those ribs taped up for way too long now.
Yep.
Like that was the I'm getting the elbow from Macho Man nightly when the house shows and every Monday on Nitro, but that's been months ago. I just don't see the reason for it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with a 7 on that.
Well,
Um, and other than that, I mean, jeans, nice physique, the hair's perfect for like a bounce. He's a bouncer. Let's just put it that way. That's really what
right.
his gimmick was too. It's where he came from. So he was just playing himself. Um, yeah, coming out with a t-shirt on, throw it in the crowd, wrestling jeans, but the taped ribs are going to take it away a little bit for me because I think it's been a little too long. All right, we'll move on to mic skills. DDP can work a crowd, no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this is 1997. He's not at the top of his game yet. Doesn't have to be. He comes out and all he's got to do is go, "Hey, who am I wrestling this week? All right, you insert name here. You're going to feel the bang." Boom. Throws the hands down. The crowd pops. Great. In the promo. It's he didn't have to have big mic skills right now. They weren't asking him to go out there and cut 7-8 minute promos yet.
Nope.
He would come out, do a nice little interview with. So I'm going to give it a 6. I know that might seem a little low to some people, but again, 5's baseline, 6 is good. 6 is good. So I'm going to give it a 6.
So I can't argue with that. I said this one here, I'm gonna give it a 7. Um, it's like, I mean, the crowd gets into it, and to me, like, Paige looks like a natural when he's doing his interviews with Mean Gene, whether it's in the ring, on the ramp, doesn't matter where it's at. If he's got something on his mind, he's going to let you know one way or another. And like I said, he didn't have to say too many words. Usually, hey, I'm going to beat you tonight. Bang. And then crowd's like, oh, yeah, this is going to be good. But yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten to see what Paige can do. And even with what we're getting now, it's good.
Let's say I want to say I'm not basing this off of what I know he will become. I am basing
Mm.
this off of 1997, even though I say that. But preface, yeah. All right, Arnold. In ring work for DDP.
In ring. For what we get, and considering, I mean, I believe, yeah, he's still fairly new to in-ring work at this point. Not like brand spanking new, but he ain't been in-ring very long because I know he was in a managerial role beforehand. And even that being said, for him to use what he knows in ring to get to where he's at, dude's a fast learner, and you can tell that he wanted to learn this stuff. This is something he's probably been interested in, probably watched it growing up, wanted to learn the business, learn the in-ring side of it, and does well. You know, he could work in the ring, he could work outside the ring, and has no problem using the things around the ring to his disposal if need be. And, that being said, like, he can definitely tell a story in a match, which is definitely good, especially in 1997. I'm gonna give this one an 8 for me. Um,
8. Okay.
there's still a few things that could probably be ironed out, but at the same time, all things considered at this point in his career, I mean, it's pretty damn good.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Okay. All right. I didn't go quite as high. I didn't as a 8. I gave it a 7. Um, a lot of what you said. He's only been, I think, on TV for 2 years, 3 years at this point. Which, for as high as he up as the card, or high as he is up on the card, is an insane non amount of time. And he can tell a story. He can lead. He can lead a young guy. He can sell like crazy. He's had to with them ribs. His finishing move is insanely over. Insanely over.
Mm-hmm.
That itself might. Now I'm debating on putting it up at it. Now I'm going to leave it a 7 because the one thing is I don't like that little pancake move he does where he gets him like he's going to give him a pile driver and just flattens him forward. I don't know what it is about that. It's executed well. To me, it just doesn't look good. I don't know. I don't like it. So I'm going to stick with a 7.
Mm.
Okay, so that ends DDP. And he ends with a total of 74, which puts him in second place out of 2. Stone Cold with 80, DDP with 74. Still very respectable. Very respectable. All right. So now let's move on to, or do you have any comments on the 74? Do you think it'd be higher or lower?
Honestly, I figured it'd be right around where it's at, believe it or not.
Yep. I mean, Austin was probably, we shouldn't have started with him, but oh well. All right. Well, I'm going to probably say the next one's not going to be as high. And even though it's my turn, I'm going to let you start on in ring work because I don't want to come off as biased. No, you know what? No, I am going to start because next we're going to do the Disco Inferno, Choke on a Pretzel Glenn, which I found it hilarious. He had an interview the other day where he called himself a mid Carter. And I'm like, that's a stretching a little bit, don't you think? But I've always said his in ring work isn't bad. Um, he's not a bad wrestler when it comes to the moves he does or the way he wrestles. I'm going to give him a 7.
Oh,
So I know I'm going to be fair on it. If you take away the gimmick, if you take away everything else, I'm just looking at the Disco Inferno grappling with somebody in the ring. He's not bad. He's actually kind of good. I so I'll give him that. I'll give him a 7.
fair enough. Hmm. I'm gonna butt in real quick. I don't know if you saw it or not. We actually got a comment on YouTube from a
Mm.
person named Chip here. It says, do you think the pancake would be better if a bigger wrestler did it so it may look more effective?
Maybe, but I don't. That's a very good comment. You say Chip? I didn't see. No, I didn't.
Mhm.
I didn't see that.
Honestly, I
Well,
think I'm inclined to agree with that. Like it would, I think that move would look more effective if a bigger wrestler did it. Like we'll take we'll say the Giant pulls a move like that. Ain't too many guys getting up from that. Well, they shouldn't get up from that. And I
true.
mean, I wouldn't call it a finisher necessarily. Like, you put him up against, I don't know, Brad Armstrong or something, and he just kind of like, oh, I don't feel like choke slamming tonight. Hit that big pancake thing and leave poor BA in a heap in the middle of the ring. Just kind of step on him. 1, 2, 3. I'm the Giant. I'm big, scary, strong man. Um, yeah, honestly, I think it would look way more effective with a bigger wrestler.
Yeah, the name that's coming to mind that I'd like to see would be Vader to do something like that and just put all of his weight into it and just crush him and pin him.
Right, or a
Yeah,
big
I could see
powerhouse
that.
like Sid.
Sid, yeah. Sid's not as a. I'm thinking more of a more girth than muscle kind of dude. I think
Oh, fair
maybe
enough.
that might be it with DDP. He's more muscle than girth. So, but yeah, that's a good point, Chip. Yeah, I think it would be better if it was a bigger dude. Yeah, thanks for the comment, Chip Whitley. Yeah, sorry, I can't. It's tiny small. I need new glasses. All right, so we'll back to this. Arnold Disco Inferno in ring work.
Disco Inferno's in ring. I mean, it's like I mean, I can't disagree with what you said there. I mean, his in-ring work isn't terrible. Um, Dude knows what he's doing in the ring for the most part, and I mean, he gets some. I guess you can call them dance moves in between, I guess. But I mean, as far as in ring, I mean, Disco's fairly solid for what it is, and given his spot on the totem pole in the company at this point, um, I mean, he did lose to a chick, according to Kevin Nash. Well, I mean, we saw it. He did lose it. He did indeed lose to a
I'd
chick
say not allegedly. He lost clean to a chick.
on a pay-per-view of all things. Um, Outside of that, like, I mean, honestly, I know we crack jokes and they crack jokes at the time and whatnot. But I mean, realistically, even in a match with Jackie, like, he did what he could do. And for what it was a joke match anyway. Whatever. I can barely give Disco Inferno a 7 for in ring.
Okay. Okay. I mean, all right. All right. Disco. Mic skills.
What Mike skills?
Uh, now come on. This isn't the gimmick. This isn't the gimmick. So we got to throw out just because of what he's talking about. How does he say it? That's more of this one. This is one where you got to really separate the gimmick from what he's actually saying.
Hmm. Oh, the mic skills kind of leave a lot to be desired. It's 9 times out of 10 more of a, hey, look at me. I'm relevant. I work here. I'm a wrestler. I also like disco because that's my whole thing. I'm the Disco Inferno. I can dance better than Alex Wright. Sure, I lost to a woman, but I'm a new man. I think I just did all of his promos for 97. Um, this gets a 1. This gets a 1.
Oh, okay. All right. So everybody that thinks I'm a disco hater, I'm going to give it. I'm. I don't think he's that bad. Is he bad? Yes. Is he going to get a 5? No. Is he going to get lower than a 5? Yes. I'm going to give him a 3. Yes, what he's given is absolute garbage, but he gets it out there. He speaks English. Um, what he's told to say, trust me, is a hell of a lot better than what's going on between his ears because we're not hearing about aliens.
Touche.
Um, so yeah, I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to be. Am I being generous? No. Am I being fair? Also, no, because nerd, yes. Yeah, 3. I'm going to stick with a 3. I was trying to talk myself into a 2, but I'm going to be a little. I mean, 2 is one's going to be you can barely get out English. One is going to be just Glenn talking off the top of his head. So I'm going to give him a 3 because just to be a, yeah, I can't go down to a 2. I'm going to stick with a 3. All right. The look. Okay. This one's hard because he comes out in orange pants. Um, nice muscles. He's well in shape. Looks like a wrestler. Looks like somebody who could be formidable. That's in his favor. The orange pants and nothing but I don't think we've has he worn anything just those orange pants that say Disco Inferno in the butt?
I think at one point didn't one of them say shake your booty or something.
Yeah, okay. So he has like 2 pairs. Um the hair is that's not even like disco hair either. That's like 50s doo-wop pompadour. The look, it's not there for me. This is going to get a 2. I'm sorry. The look, no, there's just nothing to it.
Um, these are going to tie in to later ratings, but this is the very definition of a gimmick is a gimmick is a gimmick. And as far as the look, I mean, you got the loose fitting shirt that he comes out in or whatever, and then the pants are, I guess, as bell bottomy as you can get with wrestling tights. Um, I mean, even then, I mean, it's still, at least to me, rather generic. Like, I mean, with a gimmick like that, I'm not expecting you to come out in a full on, panel suit and basically looking like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. But I mean, I feel like they could have done a little bit more with that look. I mean, you're only
See, I,
20
I
years
would have
removed from
been
disco.
I would have been better if he came out like John Travolta. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean, that would have made sense. It's disco, you know? Um, yeah, like look wise, I mean, I gotta go with I'll give it a 4 because at least he had two pairs of tights.
See, yeah, this is one where it's hard to separate gimmick and look, but I look at it this way: just because the gimmick's it's disco, it's stupid. But if he'd have came out in like John Travolta, like and in whatever disco movie, that would have been a much higher grade on the look. Just because it's disco doesn't mean it's going to be a terrible look, regardless. It's just what he chose to do with it or was told to do with it, whatever. Either way, was a terrible look. We do have two more comments
Yep.
from Ebony Shadow says, I feel like Disco Inferno's whole image was meant to look foolish in the ring. He was meant to be the guy you love to hate. Well, they got that last part right because I absolutely love to hate the little bastard. Um, yeah, it it was some. See, even if you're going to make it look foolish, then go more over the top. It's wrestling. You need to sell it. Sell it is supposed to be foolish. It's just orange tights that will say "shake your booty" or his name on the butt. If you want to be foolish, be foolish. Have them be bright pink with like flowers or something on them. I don't know,
Right.
something more. All right. Um. All right, Arnold. The gimmick.
Oh, so remember when I said a gimmick is a gimmick is a gimmick?
Mm-hmm.
Um, this ties in. I mean, it ties into the look too. Like, we went on about the look. The gimmick, he had the music, and even in the song it says he's just some disco dancing fool. Um, like, can we get my man some lights or something? Like, make it feel like I'm going to a disco for however long he takes to enter the ring.
I
Like,
mean,
I
they
think
do
they
have
had
a
a disco
disco ball
ball.
that comes down.
I was like, there's a disco ball, but there. Okay, the gimmick was stupid. Okay, it was a stupid gimmick. Disco died years before this, and I don't know. It just the gimmick didn't really vibe with me well. And if it was a thing where it was supposed to be a joke character, it should have been a joke character. He shouldn't be the TV title holder. That's just me. Um, this guy lost to a woman in 1997. Like, and that's no disrespect to women. Women are great.
That, that's booking, Arnold. That's the next category.
Like,
I'm glad you bring it up though.
who was it? Was it Cleveland that did the Death to Disco night or whatever back in like 1980 or
Oh, they was
something?
some minor league baseball team was it, and then they started like a fire in the outfield.
Yep. Like that was basically what happened there. And that just made it even worse for me. But you know what? It could have been a lot worse. I'll give this one a 3 2.
Three, okay. I'm going to keep it simple. It was disco in the mid '90s. even if it was supposed like and what you said about it, if it was supposed to be a joke, make it more of a joke instead of giving even a minor belt. This is a one for me. It's the stupidest gimmick I think I've ever seen. If it's and it may have started in that era where everybody had to have a job. And that didn't really translate too much over, I don't think, to WCW. That was more of a WWF thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he never even got out of the gimmick before the company started or flopped, did he? He was
Nope.
always Disco Inferno.
He was always Disco Inferno.
Now, I know he bounced back and forth between face and heel, but no, this is a one for me on gimmick. Yeah, no, no. Now, booking. This one is going to be hard for me because, okay, his ceiling is going to be what? The TV title, maybe a comedy tag team run. Maybe. That's the ceiling for this character. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
So he won the TV title. Bam, we've booked him all the way to the top. That's great. He lost to Jacqueline on pay-per-view. It's that's the far down as you can get. And not only that, halfway in between, he just took his ball and went home because he wasn't going to lose to a woman. Realized WWF didn't want him and came back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, it's all over the place because he's been to the top, he's been to the bottom, he's been non-existent. I can't say for what he is that he's been booked bad. Even the losing the Jacqueline thing, that's a comedy spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a 5 because he's been at the top, he's been at the bottom. No, I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6 because the bottom, I think, is when he went home and wouldn't said he wasn't going to lose to Jacqueline. Then he came back and actually did it. So I'm going to give it a 6. It's for a comedy character. Nah,
Yeah.
not bad.
I
I
mean,
would have had Ebony Shadow. I would have had some respect for him if he would have at least lost to China. No, I would have had more respect to him for losing to Jacqueline because she actually could work. China couldn't work, but that's another conversation for another day. All right, what about his booking, Arnold?
oh man. I mean, I guess. I mean, your explanation definitely helped. Because yeah, I can't get over that loss. That was just that was a lot. But to turn that into a belt 2 months or 2 or 3 months later at this point, something like that was, I mean, quite the turnaround, all things considered. I mean, it wasn't going to be, oh, I lost to Jacqueline. Now I need a world title run. But I mean, even to get the TV title off of Perry Saturn was, I mean, quite an incredible feat, if we're being honest. Um, and I mean, realistically, I mean, we can say all we want about Disco and everything else. Um, for the most part, dude was on Nitro just about every Monday. I mean, he was constantly getting matches one way or the other. So you can't really argue with that. Um, yeah, I think I might stick with the 5. Um, because I mean, it's right down the middle. Like I said, dude was on TV quite a bit and even turned losing at a pay-per-view to Jacqueline to, hey, I'm now the TV champion. That's all I got for that.
Okay. Well, that brings Disco's total out of 100 to a grand whopping total of 39. And I mean, that's almost 40. So almost it's just less than half of Stone Cold, and that I think is perfect. So we've got first place Stone Cold Steve Austin at 80, DDP at 74, and Disco 39. All right. Um yeah, let's go ahead and we'll do one. We're gonna do one more tonight.
Do one more tonight.
Maybe two. We'll see how we feel. Let's definitely do one. Let's do the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. All right, Arnold, tell us, how was he booked in 1997?
Zero. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um,
That's a hot take.
I mean, if we're talking about in ring, I'm kidding. Booking, I don't think the WWF could have booked Shawn better at this point. If we're talking in terms of eras in WWF, I mean, that's the whole reason for our podcast. Shawn was definitely one of the faces of the new generation era of WWF and was able to carry that into the Attitude Era. And what we would soon become the Attitude Era. He was still your top guy, kind of 1A, 1B with Bret Hart in the company. He's obviously going up against other guys who they consider top guys at the time. They got this whole DX thing going now, and that seems to be taking off. Lest we forget the Montreal screw job.
Oh, was that this year?
97. Realistically, considering, I mean, Shawn is at this point, honestly, I can't even say on the other side. Honestly, he, to me, as far as booking, for the most part, he's starting to get beyond his peak, but he's still kind of teetering at the top there. Like, in
I
my
think we lost
opinion.
Arnold.
I'm here, right?
There we go.
Okay.
Hold on. Say that last sentence again. In my opinion, he was. Then we lost.
Okay. I was like, he wasn't quite past his prime yet at this point. Like, he already had a bunch of classic matches at this point, but like Shawn is still at the tippy top of the company at this point. And realistically, if it's like we need a big match, we'll throw Shawn in there with some guy for the belt, something like that. I mean, he's the champion, so, and has been for a pretty good chunk of time. He lost his smile for a little bit. Was that this year? Or was that last year?
I think it was late last year.
That might have been, yeah, that was late last year because the whole sunny day conversation. Cough. But realistically, as far as booking, I mean, Shawn's your guy at this point. Other guys are starting to come up, but Shawn's still like the Shao Kahn of WWF at this point. And even with that, I'll give it an 8. Only where, I mean, I'm still kind of salty about Montreal, but who knows?
Yeah, I think Shawn has been booked perfectly, putting him in the whole DX angle with Trips, and really not kicking off, but leaning hard into this Attitude Era thing. It's great. I'm going to give it a 9, and it would be a 10 if it wasn't for the. Well, I was going to say the screw job, but that really wasn't his doing. That was 100%. I'm going to say Bret's fault. Well, I mean, it kind of leaned to him being an ass to begin with. And that was equal parts both, whatever. But let's say the backstage politicking overall. I can't give it a 10 because of that. Because he wasn't, a lot of his booking he's doing it himself. But other than that, the feuds he's had, working with Trips, putting him in segments with Sergeant Slaughter where he just gets to be the jackass teenager is great. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give it a 9. Bringing that next, the gimmick. To me, this is going to be a kind of a dual gimmick year for him, where he starts off as the heartbreak kid, the showstopper, the icon, the main event, the all blah 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 blah, and it kind of molds into uh teenage dirtbag, for worse or better. Hold on. Yes. Really? Okay. That was my 10-year-old who knows I'm out here what I'm doing. Um, okay. Where was this? Oh, where he morphs into a teenage dirtbag seamlessly because, again, just him being really his immature demons and just putting them on film. I'm giving his gimmick a 10. It's perfect for the era. It really helped kick it off. And on screen, it just was absolute perfection.
Yeah. I can't argue with the 10 there. Quite frankly, I'm inclined to agree. Yeah, like I mean, we especially considering where Sean was at the end of 96 and to be able to find your smile again, come back, everybody's glad to see you. Crowd pops every time your music hits. Excuse me. And like I said, to just be able to just easily roll into DX Sean, running around, wreaking havoc with Trips in China. And yeah, like there's just absolutely nothing wrong with his gimmick here. I am inclined to agree. That's a 10.
Okay. Awesome. All right. What about his look?
Um, really, this is another 10 for me. I want to be honest. Um, really goes along with his gimmick. I mean, Shawn Michaels is a fairly attractive dude. So, I mean, you got the heartbreak, they think I'm a sexy boy, whatever. And I mean, he played that part well, down to the tights. And then, I don't know, he just kind of had that look, you know? That's the best way I could put it. It was that look.
It was mid-90s. It was perfect. Well, not
Mhm.
even, we're in almost the late 90s, mid to late 90s, however you want to look at 97. Um, somewhere the Yeah, it was his in-ring gear's great. The long hair still fits. I wish he'd have kept it still now. I don't care how balding he was getting. It still beats what he's got now. But, he's whatever. That's now. I can't compare it to now. Um, I'm having I was going to say 10 and then I tried to talk myself out of it, but I can't. So I'm going to have to go with 10 also. The look worked great. Michaels absolutely hit the whole grunge thing and it worked with his change. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
The absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Ebony Shadow again.
She's so smart.
Now I know who that is. Awesome. And yes, that's Arnold kissing some ass. Wrong phrase to use. I'll edit that out off of a live broadcast. No, I'm not.
We're live,
I
pal.
forgot. Can I have a do-over? Sorry, Sid. I just pulled a Sid. Great. Anywho, moving on. Um, the opposite of what I have, Shawn Michaels' mic skills. Um, they're great. Sorry, hold on. Let me take a drink of my Skip Bayless juice. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 2. He's terrible. Never had a good promo. It just does. No, this is a 10. It's Shawn Michaels in 1997. Whether you like what he said or not, he could say whether you like the immature style of what he would say, and I sometimes didn't, it came off perfectly. You know what? No, hold on. I want to go back and cut that down to 9 for one thing and one thing only. I remember a Nitro where he stood out there and just talked for 17 minutes. And for that alone, I'm going to take off 1 point and give it a 9. Because I remember just how awful big that was. So I'm going to give Mike
Yeah.
Skills a 9.
Um, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Let's say keep it a buck. All right. So first off, it kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go with. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna go with an 8 here because, like, don't get me wrong. While some of the stuff he said might have been a little too much of a shoot for me, it worked. But it's one of those things where it's like, dude, it's 1997. The internet is still a privilege at this point. So I'm not trying to look up Uncle Dave's dirt sheets to figure out what's going on behind the curtain. Like, come out here, tell me you're going to beat up Bret Hart and then strut around and say you're a sexy boy, or tell the crowd you got 2 words for them and then hit the pay window. Like, I don't need to hear like, Brett left his dirty socks in the locker room in the last city. Like, that's I'm exaggerating clearly, but like at the same time, like I'm not watching Raw for that. And then yeah, to hijack the show and I think we're still no, we're at 2 hours now on Raw. So I think they're finally head to head with Nitro at this point. But to spend a quarter of an hour basically hijacking the show, that kind of yeah, that alone really knocked it down to an 8 for me. Like, don't get me wrong, Michaels is amazing on the mic. Dude could burp into the mic and a crowd will pop. But
And 8 is great. There's nothing wrong with
yeah,
8s and 9s.
it's like some of them, some of his promos got a little too unkayfabe, let's just say.
I see. I agree. I agree 100%. All right, Arnold. I hate to put a man down, but let's talk about Shawn Michaels in ring work.
Shawn Michaels in ring work. In ring, Shawn Michaels varies. Um, and it's not like, oh, I gotta base my move set on the size of my opponent. It was more, I gotta base what I do in the ring on whether or not I want to be a part of this match. um, and
That's
you look at a match versus, say, Bret Hart versus a match against the man they call Vader. Uh, which I mean, anybody who's ever watched a Vader match knows dude works stiff. And Shawn had issue with that. And Shawn showed everybody that he had issue with that. Um, but again, that's more politics. But as far as in ring though, I mean, even with that being said, Michaels could still get it done. He'd go in there, he'd know what he needed to do to work the crowd, and he'd work the crowd. And he put on some classics. I mean, even through 97, had some classic matches. And a lot of that had to do with the in-ring work. But this gets a 7 because if he didn't want to be a part of the match, he showed you he did not want to be a part of the match.
woo. Okay, wow. 7. I'm flabbergasted because wow, I'm going to use a British term here. I'm going the full whack. That's a 10. It's a 10 for me. Sean is one of the best in the ring. And I mean, even you mentioned Bret Hart. He didn't want to do that. I mean, him and Bret Hart hated each other. But up until that last screw job part, which, you can put blame wherever you want, that was still A+ match up. And I think that's what we gave it up until that was an A+ match. And he didn't want to be there. Yes, he didn't like working with certain people. He didn't like being stiff with Vader. And he kicked him in the head. That was a year last year, so I can't really put it in this year, but he kicked him in the head and said he was supposed to kick out or something stupid. I don't remember. But yeah, this still for me gets the full whack 10, because Sean is and was and will always be one of the best to ever do it. Sorry to steal his nemesis's name or gimmick there, but it's got to be a 10 for me. Gotta be. If I gave Disco a 7, I just realized you get. I know we're not supposed to compare them to each other, but you gave Disco and Shawn Michaels the same grade for in-ring work. I'm just saying. I know we're not supposed to compare them, and I'm not comparing them. But come on, dude. Okay, I'm not gonna make change grade. Not gonna make change grade. But but I'm just gonna go ahead and say you're wrong. So, anywho, all right. Well, that finishes out for Shawn Michaels, and we have a new number 1 out of a possible 100 points. Our new number 1 is Shawn Michaels at 94, Stone Cold at 80, DDP at 74, and Disco Inferno at 39. I think we can do one more. That way we just hop it off at 5.
Oh, that works.
You got time?
Yep.
All right. Because we're going to do a tag team, and this is going to be the Harlem Heat. And yeah, I'm going to put a couple tag teams in here because I've determined we're going to do this for about the next 3 weeks to get everybody we need to do done and have a big master. Oh, hold on, wait. We have another comment. Do you think Trips would have been anywhere as close to successful as he was without Michaels? He would not have been as successful right up until he started nailing the boss's daughter. Then he's going to be as successful. I'm not saying that he rode Sean's coattails and rode somebody else's tail to the top. But I don't know. This is one of those classic what ifs because Paul Levesque had it all.
Mm-hmm.
When it come to being a top guy. He had the look, he had the brains, and he had the politics ability.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. Does he get there as quick? No. Does he get maybe as many like championship runs and stays at the top of the card? I can't. I don't know. Definitely, without Trips, he gets there. Without the boss's daughter, we're talking not as many.
Like, I think if we're looking at this, because I mean, this is about we're on the tail end of the Hunter Hearst Helmsley, blue blood kind of thing, and then we go into Triple H. I feel like without Sean, you still make that transition to be like, okay, we need to kind of update this character a little bit. And even if they decide to do this, say you do Degeneration X, but you bring in somebody else instead of Shawn Michaels, like we need to protect Shawn or something or whatever. Trips had the charisma to pull this off, given he has proper chemistry with whoever he's with. But I'm with you though. Like it probably wouldn't have taken off as quickly. And realistically, I don't think oh, I can't really say that because that's not really nice. Well, I don't want to say nice, but I don't know. This might be a hot take to me at least, but I don't think Trips gets to where he was until, assuming this still happens the way it happens, obviously, becoming a McMahon basically. And then until we start to get the game. Like once we get there, then it's like, all right, man, there's something with this guy. Think he's got it. But at the same time, then we lose these memories that we have of the Generation X and their shenanigans.
Very true. Very true. All right. So I know I said we're going to do Harlem Heat, but my computer's dying and my cable's out in the car, and I'm not going to go get it. So teaser, we're going to start next week with Harlem Heat. I do believe we're going to probably end up doing. I want to do at least we can get through 5, I think, an episode now.
Yeah, give or take.
At least I want to do at least 20, so maybe a month of this. That way, I'm also trying to find a way to, and I think I might have found a way to watch Raw, and that way we can go back and catch up in that.
Oh.
Yeah. And we can thank Stephanie McMahon for it. So.
All right. Shout out to Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. All right. Well, that's going to be it for us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed. One more for the ratings: 94, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold 80, DDP 74, and Disco 39. Those are out of a possible 100. I should break it down and see how many of the 50 got from me and from you. But I don't want to do that. We'll just do total.
Sounds like analytics to me.
We're a tag team. Yeah. And I would just like to say, I graded Disco higher. I do know I graded Disco higher than you did. So.
Yes.
Even though I hate him more. All right. Arnold, if anybody has any arguments about this, where can they email us?
They can email us at AEWR316@gmail.com.
Or go to our YouTube. Just find the video and comment on it. Like Ebony Shadow and Chip Whitley did. Thanks for watching tonight.
Absolutely.
I know I've been saying this for a while now, and I swear I'll try to get it done tomorrow because I'm off. I don't have to work. So I will try to get the Facebook page up and running. Maybe. Yeah. But I think that's going to be us for tonight. I kind of like this because I really didn't see that big of a gap between Shawn and Stone Cold. But here we stand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. If you'd like to do your own rankings, send them to us and we'll tell yours. All right. I'm just trying to look here. It's something that may have stuck out, like in-ring work. Disco and Shawn Michaels getting the same score. DDP getting a better looks gimmick look score than Austin. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like this format. Mm-hmm. I'm glad another podcast that's not wrestling. I'm glad I stole it from them. It had nothing to do with wrestling. If they were breaking down rides at a theme park that I was listening to. And they broke them down in different categories and they all went haywire. And I'm like, well, let's try to see if we can apply this to wrestling. And I'm losing my voice. So you know what, Arnold? Screw it. Send us home.
Will do. So I hope you guys enjoyed what we've done here so far. Honestly, yeah, I'm a big fan of this format too. It's neat and gives us a chance to kind of break things down a little bit. And yeah, I like it so far. Um, and as stated before, I have been the man with the velvet vocal cords, Arnold, and with me as always, my tag team partner, the three-time, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, three-time armchair booker of the year, the Big Drewski. And we are laying on our backs, staring up at those lights. One, two, three.